Hi everybody, the Red Sea is officially at war.
Tensions in the nearby Red Sea.
Red Sea has been witnessing attacks from the Houthis.
These pictures released by Israeli Defense Forces show what they say is a hostile aerial target heading towards Israel.
This follows multiple attacks on shipping by Yemen-based Houthi rebels.
On 19th of November, a ship named Galaxy Leader was hijacked by a group called the Houthis in the Red Sea. And while most people thought this to be yet another rebel attack, what followed next was so crazy that this incident is on the verge of putting the entire world economy on the edge of disruption again. Because it's not one or two attacks, there have been 37 attacks on commercial ships by the Houthis using drones. And now, this war has come very close to India.
The Houthis of Yemen have claimed responsibility for the latest attack on a cargo vessel on the Red Sea, and they say that they remain determined to continue with such attacks.
India-bound ship, a cargo ship, was actually hijacked by Yemen's Houthis.
What the Indian Navy has done is that they have surged warships, several of them, in this area. And ultimately, India will need to take a call on whether we are going to deploy in the Red Sea itself.
Now, just like any other geopolitical conflict, this conflict has Iran and Russia on one side and the US, Israel and UAE on the other side. And since the Red Sea has two critical choke points of world trade, it has already had a wide-scale impact on both the world trade and Indian trade to Europe and US.
The Red Sea is a busy corridor for India's sea trade, and any disruption could have significant consequences.
The attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea by Yemen's Houthi rebel group has led to concerns for Indian exporters.
Reports say rice exports from India could get more expensive. The cost of basmati rice could increase by 15 to 20%.
And again, if this conflict escalates any further, we all know what happens. Oil prices will shoot up, inflation will spike, and economies all around the world will suffer. So in this episode today, let's dive deep in and understand who exactly are these Houthi rebels, why are they attacking the ships in the Red Sea, why is the Red Sea so important, how is this conflict putting the entire world economy at the edge of disruption, and most importantly, how is the business in India and the world being affected due to this Red Sea war. This video is brought to you by Odoo. Odoo is an enterprise resource planning software that covers all your company requirements, including CRM, website, e-commerce, accounting, inventory, and point of sale. This is the one and only platform that you will ever need to run your business. For example, let's take websites. Every business needs a website, but the question is, who codes it? Well, with Odoo, you can easily build your website without any technical knowledge. With just 4 steps, your website will be ready to be customized. You can drag and drop blocks, add text related to your business, add your images, or use Odoo's integrated stock library Unsplash. Everything in the website is customizable, and within a few minutes, your website will be ready. And now that you've crafted a stunning website with Odoo's website builder, the question is, how do you host it? Well, here comes the best part. It's free forever with Odoo. That too with unlimited support and a custom domain for a year. So no more monthly bills, no hidden fees, and your website is free for lifetime and it stays that way. So if you found this useful, check out Odoo from the link in the description. It is truly an all-in-one business management software that can reshape the landscape of your business operations. And now, on to the episode. As usual, let's start from the basics and first try to understand who exactly are these Houthis and why are they attacking the ships in the Red Sea. Well, if you look at the history of the Houthis emerged in the 1990s as an armed group in Yemen to fight against the corruption in Yemen and to oppose the then president Ali Abdullah.
The Houthis, they began in the 90s as a moderate theological movement of the Zaydis, that's a Shia minority group. Fighting corruption was one of their main aims.
But eventually, just like Taliban was used as a proxy army by the US to fight Russians in Afghanistan, even the Houthis are being used by Iran to fight its enemies. And because Russia is Iran's ally, you will see that the Houthis are not attacking Russian ships at all. And when we look deeper, we found out that in Yemen, on one side there is Yemen's government that is backed by Saudi Arabia and the United States, and on the other side, the Houthis are backed by Iran and Hezbollah. So in today's context, they are completely against Israel, US and Western allies. Now, if you look at which ships they were targeting, initially they were targeting only those ships that were either headed to Israel or were owned by Israelis. So until November, the impact was restricted only to Israel. But now, several reports say that they are targeting ships of other countries to exert pressure on those countries to stop Israel from attacking Palestine. If this is very clear to you, let's go deeper and understand why is this random rebel attack so critical for the entire world economy. People, if you look at this map, this is the country of Yemen, and the Houthi rebels have taken control of this part of Yemen, which even includes the capital of Yemen. And as you can see, the Houthis are so strategically placed that they can block the access to the Red Sea at the Bab el-Mandeb. This means if they block this part, they can cause a catastrophe in world trade. Why? Because the Red Sea is by far one of the most important trade regions in the world. If you see this map, the Red Sea is like a massive water highway of around 2000 kilometers which connects Europe and Asia by linking the Mediterranean Sea with the Indian Ocean. And if you pass through the Swiss Canal, it is a shortcut from Asia to Europe. But if this region is blocked, then the ships will have to go all the way down to the Cape of Good Hope and then go around Africa to Europe. And this route adds another 8,900 kilometers to the shipping route and 2 more weeks to the shipping time. So the Red Sea is super important because it saves both time and fuel cost. And this critical route has 2 choke points. One is the Swiss Canal and the other is the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. And this strait is only 26 kilometers or 16 miles wide at its narrowest point. So it's very easy for someone to disrupt the shipping traffic by blocking this narrow gap of Bab el-Mandeb. And this is such an important region that $1 trillion worth of goods pass through this region every year. 30% of all containers that move around the world pass through this region. And lastly, 7 to 10% of the entire world's oil and 8% of the entire world's liquefied natural gas are shipped through this water highway. So if you remember, the last time the Swiss Canal trade route was blocked, it led to the blockage of $9 billion worth of goods each day, which is equivalent to $400 million worth of trade per hour. And in just 6 days, the world lost $54 billion worth of trade.
Now it's one of the world's most important shipping routes and it's blocked.
Logistical nightmare. More than 10% of the world's trade travels through Egypt's Suez Canal, which links Europe and Asia. But since Tuesday, it's been completely blocked.
So if 6 days could cause so much chaos, you can imagine what a month-long blockade could do, right? If this is very clear to you, let's understand India's position in this conflict. For us in India, this route is super critical. This route is like our lifeline to Europe and the West, and it's vital for our energy needs also. Why? Because 20% of our exports or $200 billion worth of exports pass through this pathway. And just like India, many other countries have their important imports and exports passing through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. So this conflict threatens the trade of all countries who ship their goods through the Red Sea. This is how, by attacking the ships in the Red Sea, the Houthis are creating a pressure on not just India but all nations across the world to stop Israel from continuing their attack on Gaza. And this brings us to the most important question of all. What is the immediate impact of this on world trade and what kind of businesses will get affected in India? Well, firstly, since the ships using this region will be at risk, the insurance cost for the voyage of these ships have increased. In fact, Bloomberg says that for a vessel that costs $100 million, the insurance cost has shot up from 0.2% per voyage to 0.5% per voyage. So for a ship that costs $100 million, the insurance cost has gone up from $200,000 to $500,000. And this means the cost of shipping has already increased. Secondly, the traffic in the Red Sea has decreased. So if you look at this chart, you will see that the traffic in the Red Sea has dropped by 40% over the last 3 weeks. So the question is, where are these 40% ships going if not through the Red Sea? Well, like we saw in the map, if not through the Swiss Canal and the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, the ships will have to go all the way down via the Cape of Good Hope. So again, the shipping costs are increasing due to both more time and fuel needed to ship the goods using longer routes. Fourthly, there is something called the Panama Crisis.
Largest traffic jams is taking place. It's not the usual type of blockage. It's a traffic jam in the sea. More than 100 ships are currently stuck.
In your 40-year career, you've never seen anything like this?
No. The low water levels at the Panama Canal are actually causing a traffic jam in one of the largest trading routes in the world right now.
The goods can't get through the Panama Canal.
For those who don't know, this is the strait between North America and South America, and it allows 6% of the world's maritime commerce to pass through it. It has about 38 to 40 ships passing on a day-to-day basis. But as of December, 50% of these ships have stopped using this route. Why? Because if you remember from our Adani episode, large ships require a certain depth to sail. And if the depth of the water goes below a certain level, the large ships won't be able to sail. And in this region, due to less rainfall, the depth of the sea has gone down from 27 meters to below 25 meters. And these large ships require a minimum of 26 meters to operate. This is the reason why huge container vessels have to use an alternate route, which was this route via Malacca Strait and then via Bab el-Mandeb and Swiss Canal. And this had already increased the cost of shipping from China to North and South America by a large extent. But now, even the Suez Canal route has become dangerous. So, the ships will have to take this route via Cape of Good Hope to then go to South and North America. This is the impact of the Houthi rebel attack on the world trade. If this is very clear to you, let's come to its impact on Indian businesses.
Houthi attacks on ships in the region have upended world trade.
These disruptions could have hit India's rice trade.
A number of the world's biggest oil and cargo shippers have rerouted hundreds of ships to avoid the violence.
Firstly, because the shipping routes to Europe and US have become longer, the overall shipping cost of Indian goods to these markets has already increased by 20 to 40%. And European Union is India's second largest export destination. So the slowing demand from Europe will impact India's labor-intensive sectors like textile, gems and jewelry exports. Secondly, to be more specific, let's come to Kanpur. Kanpur exports leather, plastic and spices worth 300 crores every single month to Europe. And last year, we exported 5,500 crores worth of goods to Europe. And because of the situation, already 100 crores worth of goods have been held back. Thirdly, India exported 38,524 crores or $4.7 billion worth of basmati in FY23. And according to the former president of All India Rice Exporters Association, the freight cost for India's basmati rice exports to countries around the Red Sea has jumped from $600 per 20-ton container to $2,000. This is the story, impact and the consequence of the Red Sea war on India and the world trade. So now what's happening? US has already started attacking the Houthis, but if Iran and Russia step into this war instead of just backing them, it will again lead to a full-fledged war. And as far as I know, since the US has come in, the possibility of this happening is very less. But in this crazy world, fortunately or unfortunately, nothing is impossible. But regardless of that, I just hope you learned something valuable from this case study. That's all from my side for today, guys. If you learned something valuable, please make sure to hit the like button in order to make YouTube Baba happy. And for more such insightful business and political case studies, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.